Oh my God, who is that on TV? On my TV, somebody call the TV company. My TV is broken. There's this old dude on it in a tie-dye shirt. How you doing? Science, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I feel like it's the first stream of the week. It's so special being a Monday. I really like the weekday streams. I don't know why. It's just part how, the weekday becomes part of my natural rhythm routine of getting some work done in the morning, checking my emails. Hadn't been working for a few days, but some people still haven't come back to work, let's put it that way. So it seems pretty quiet. They're leaving me alone to do some programming. Well, you know what I mean? That's what I do. So that's nice, but I really look forward to taking a break today, having a stream. We're going to fly around. I got the beautiful blue Bluetooth controller right here. Seems to be operating correctly. I do have a freshly poured glass of the Diet Coke right there. I'm going to try it. We'll see how this goes. It is, yeah, exactly. I feel like Monday is like, now I'm back, it's not holiday. It's just a regular, it's probably not going to be a super long stream. I'm going to play my guitar later, the fancy cheap guitar. I'm going to be talking about it too, if anybody cares, which I do. That's Diet Coke, all right. It tastes like brown, okay? But in the best possible way. I mean, brown's not bad. I didn't say it was bad. I said, I don't know whether it's spicy, fruity, refreshing. But I have something in mind for today's playthrough. I occasionally like to be inspired by real world events. And yesterday, I think probably everybody saw big news that America struck the Iranian nuclear facilities, and quite a few details were put out there regarding how it was done. Specifically, 7 B-2 Spirit bombers launched from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri on 30-hour round-trip flights, which required them to refuel, I think, 3 or 4 times. To drop each one, it was carried 2 of these giant 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs, GBU-57 bunker bunkers. I don't know what they are exactly, apparently I don't know whether how that works, whether that. But we do have a Spirit bomber, don't we? We do have a Spirit. So I'm like, we're gonna operate our Spirit bomber out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, just like they did. Now, are we going to spend 30 hours flying to Iran and back? No. But like, I have time for that. I mentioned this is an hour and a half long stream. All right, so this is the quick flight Spirit. There's two versions of the Spirit, which is, they call it the Spirit. It's clearly the B-2. This one is called the Spirit of Mississippi. I was hoping that there was a Spirit of Missouri, but I don't think there is, actually. There's Washington, South Carolina. I mean, they're named for various different states. Oh, there is a Spirit of Missouri, because we're going to be taking off from Missouri. All right, save that one. Right? Is it now calling us? Oh, yeah, because we're flying out of Missouri, which is a real place in Missouri where they actually operate the B. It's the main base where they operate the B-2 Spirit bombers currently. So yeah, it's an extremely expensive $2 billion, flight system and those things, and they operate the heavy ordnance there. All right, so we're gonna do a fun question like, what's it like to cold start one of these planes? Now, the truth is nobody knows. The interior cockpits are classified. Nobody's been in one and said what it looks like. So these are speculative. The cockpit you'll see. Okay, let's see if we can find Whiteman Air Force Base. Whiteman Air Force Base. Yeah, it's Whiteman AFB Noster. It's a little southeast of Kansas City. Perfect. But we're gonna cold start because these are all ramp smalls. Hopefully it'll be fine. But yeah, this is specifically where they operate these specific planes, and the planes that bombed Iran, bomb Iran. Boom, 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 boom. I always think of that whenever I hear the phrase bomb around for some reason. And yeah, they left from here. They had to refuel several times. And the main purpose of all those bases, Air Force bases in foreign areas, is so that they can launch a KC-110 tanker, air refueling tanker, and that meets them. They have to meet them. The logistics of refueling in the air and getting the fuel to the right place at the right time is probably the most complicated. The other thing I was thinking about is when they simulate these things, it's kind of loud. Okay, Spirit, Missouri. Here we are. Let's take a look around the outside here. You can see kind of the doors that are shaped in a very unusual way to prevent radar signature. Look at that, though. The pilot is Lieutenant Colonel J. Kenish. And I did not set that by default, by the way. That is something as part of the livery. I did not know there's a Kenish. That sounds like Kench 909 to me. Okay, so you see the doors, flaps. Now, how you get in the plane is through this little ladder here. We're not going to get in this way. You get in the ladder, and then there's a door that seals up, and there's a hatchway up there. But we're just going to pop our way in here. Well, okay, this is the outside. Now, technically, this base operates a lot of these stealth bombers, so you'd see them out here. But it's not really showing, you know, the military load of this place. But, yeah, this is where they operate them. Okay, we'll check a few things here. Oh, yeah, okay, that is working. That's set to there. That's all look good. All right, here's the interior. This is the proposed interior. Again, nobody knows for sure what they look like, but they're almost certainly kind of similar to this with these multiple MFD screens, a central probably radar and probably a weapon system display in the middle, and then kind of a simplified engine management and lighting panel on the overhead. Not too much on the overheads, which is kind of nice. And then there's a whole startup system of the things over here. All right, so for example, let's get starting her up. We're gonna have to fly this. All right, so battery, external power on, main battery on. One thing I want to check is we can open the bomb bay door, right? And wait, here's how I want to do this. So then we can leave. We can go outside here. And those during flight, for some reason, it's hard. You can see that this particular plane is located with what they call rotary launch or rotary something. But there's two of them. There's one on one side and there's one on the other side. And they rotate to each one, I think, holds 8 of those 1,000 or no, they all, let's see, 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 16 of those 1,000-pound bombs. Those are guided bombs. And on that side, 16, so a total of 32,000 pounds of bombs in this particular. But the ones that went out the other day each only hold 2 of those 15 or 30,000 pound bunker busters. Not exactly how sure they were. Okay, close this up again. And the other thing is, boy, you're in this cockpit for 30 hours, and I think there's kind of a sleeping area technically over here. In fact, we can walk around here. You can see, I don't think this is necessarily set up like it is. I think there's basically, this room has a head, you know, and kind of a bunk for sleeping. If we can go through this thing, you can kind of see how how those rotary launchers are laid out there. We can't really do too much there. So I think this is kind of a living area that they can relax in, because I mean, 30 hours, you're not gonna spend 30 hours sitting in this seat and you know, survive it that easily. All right, let's see if we can go back to here. All right, let's start getting our power systems on. Okay, generators are off for now. Leave the engine generators off. Power is on. External power is on, right? Let's see, where do we want to go next? Let's see, that's all good. We're getting ready to start the APUs. So we're going to start, there's 2 APUs. We're going to start the left and the right APU because they take a minute to start up. So give them a second. Let's see, what do we need down here? Everything down there looks pretty good. We're getting ready to start. Eventually the APU will come on. And when it does, excuse me, it should say APU on this panel on the right here. Let's see if we can zoom in and see what it's saying. Low mag pressure, APU1 running, APU2 running. Am I going to the ME? Do you know? Can you spell that out for me, JH? Yeah, we're not going to fly all the way to Iran. Okay, it's a 15-hour flight each way. Realistically speaking, this is not a supersonic craft. But I thought it'd be fun to operate the actual craft that's in the news. All right, we're getting ready to get the right panel here. Not that one. Okay, we're getting ready to do startup, just try to start the engines. Let's see, these are all, that's the stop engines. So if we hit the start engine, basically, because we're on external power, I think we can start all the engines at the same time. All right, you want to turn your beacon lights on. so that people know that you're starting the engine. The other thing we want to do is close the entry hatch. That's that little hatch down there. You see that there? That's sticking out there. If we hit close here, and then go out there, you see it closing up there. It's kind of cool. That's the entry hatch, because we're already inside the plane. They're just closing up. And entry hatch closed. Very good. All right, now are the engines starting up? They are starting up. So to monitor that, we look at our engine condition panel. That's over here. It shows engines 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it shows like N1 is the RPM as a percentage of maximum. 20% indicates engine idle. But you can see temperatures are coming up and the engine speeds are coming up on all 4 engines. Pretty soon we'll be able to turn on engine bleed and turn off our APUs, and we'll be pretty much ready to go. Oh, actually, the other thing we're going to do is make sure to turn our generators on so we don't leak the batteries out. There's a few things to remember. It's a, you know, again, it's kind of a complicated system, but I was practicing a little earlier today so I wouldn't like a complete dumbass. I don't think we'll head all the way to the Middle East. I was thinking about maybe we could start in the Middle East, but then I thought it's more fun to actually start in the Missouri Whiteman Air Force Base, which is where they actually operated from. 24% is idle, right? 23%. Engines idling. You can see those auxiliary air intakes on the top of the engines. Those are used at relatively low speeds to help bring additional air into the engine manifolds, the intake manifolds. The engines are located inside, you know, and they use a special system to try to keep the exhaust from appearing on infrared. That's a whole other story. All right, so we're getting going here. Okay, as I mentioned, the next thing we're going to want to do is turn on the engine generators. They're now providing power for us. Engine generators on, and then the APUs, which were providing power for us and don't need to anymore. So we do engine APU both stopped. All right, down here in your engine bleed panel, you're going to turn on these 4 valves, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we don't need the crossover. How's it looking? All right, we need to turn the packs off. The packs on. Where are they? Here's the left and right packs. I'm not exactly sure what the packs are for, but you're supposed to turn them on. At this point, you can see we have only parking brake set for warnings, which is because we have the parking brake set. But other than that, we have no cautions, and we're ready to fly around this baby. As far as I'm interested in doing is just, you know, a little bit of takeoff, a little bit of look around. We're close to Kansas City. By the way, I want to double check, do we have live weather? Live weather's turned on. It's beautiful. We'll fly around Kansas City, and then we'll land, and it's just, you know, we're not going to bomb anybody. You know, that's not good. All right, so we're going to tune, is it clearance or it's ground? I don't know how to say that. Okay, request, let's just say taxi straight out, please. All right, this is what it looks like from here. It doesn't have the greatest visibility in the world, but it's really cool looking. All right, generators are on, APUs are off, engines are running, cargo door is closed, access door is closed. Wow, I think we can. I think we can take off a little bit. Let's get a little power to the engines here. Oh, I wanted to test that because I have. Okay, these on. By the way, I'm just testing some flight control surfaces. Those are speed brakes. I'm testing all my other surfaces there. That's all the surfaces. Wait, what's going on here? Why did my engines go off? That was something weird happening. I don't know what happened there. The engine's kind of keeled over. Interesting-ish. Kinda. Yeah, try to hit the freedom. You know, we're not here to be that political, you know, to do anything political. Something weird happened. The engines shut off right when we're going somewhere. I'm trying to restart them. I know, but I think that's just a bug. This plane is not a free plane too. I paid for it, but there's 2 of them. The other one is like $30. The other one's considered better. Okay, the engines are restarting. Give it a second. Right? Control, automatically restart engines. Everything is okay. I think. I mean, they will start up because we got engine 1 started. Engine 2, they'll start in sequence. So it's gonna take a minute. I know. Hey, you know, that's why we train, you know, we're learning here. We're going to fly. This plane is a little tricky to fly, by the way, so I just got to warn you. It's just, not, I have flown it before a few times. Actually a bunch of times, not in a while. I don't know why the engine's keeled over like that. It may have been because I was messing with the air brakes. Oh no, they're keeling over again. All right. That's not going to start up. We're going to try again from the runway. That's an interesting, that boat did not happen before. This game is a little unpredictable, but once it happens, the only way to restart is to start on the runway with the engines going. And that's happened to me with several different planes before. And that is that the engines just won't run. They just stop running. And you can try to restart them, but the game has decided. I know the game has decided that running the engines is not a thing. Once you start on the runway, the engines have to be running, right? And you can kind of see. Okay, I'm looking at the left. I just want to see if they're going to stay here. Okay, hold on. Parking brake on, or the engine's going to fail again. I'm just listening because I'm listening right at the sound. You can see they're staying constant now. All right, let's look in here. Everything here says it's fine. Parking brake set. Oh, I know what. I think I may not have turned the fuel pump switches on. I think that was me. You have to turn these fuel pump switches on. I messed up something. It was definitely me. We'll remember this for next time. I told you this is a complicated startup situation. It doesn't warn you that your fuel pumps aren't, but these fuel switches all have to be set manually, and I didn't do it. All right, not a mystery. Let's just fly anyway and pretend I didn't, you know. All right, full power. Let power build up. Parking brake is on. Parking brake off. We're going to need this whole runway. This plane takes a while to get going. That's full power out of all the engines. It is a beautiful bird, though. And I am using the, it comes with all sorts of kind of wacky, colorful, camouflage, bright red liveries. But the real plane, and this is one of the real liveries, is very dull, dark gray. And it's that color, the color is specifically the color of a radar, like a silicone radar. I think it's almost like a neoprene radar signature reducing coating. What's our speed? 145. 155 is takeoff. There we go. So we're going to establish some positive climb right here. That's us climbing. Okay, positive rate. Gear up. Positive rate. Gear up. Gear's coming up. There's the gear coming up. There's the gear. You see the doors are about to come in. And once we get enough speed, the auxiliary, those will automate. The doors at the top, the engine close automatically. We're at 227. That's my master caution. I think that's a normal caution. Landing gear up. Yeah, it's a landing gear up caution at low altitude. We're climbing. Okay. The actual city of San Francisco. I do play music. Thank you. I play music every day, every part of the stream. The first half of the stream was Flight Simulator, if you haven't seen it. I've got like 400 VODs on YouTube, too. The second half is always a music performance, and today is guitar day. Yesterday I played the piano, but I have a guitar that I've been having a good time with, kind of new. So here we are, we're flying around. Okay, we're going to reduce engine power to about there, so we don't overspeed. We're going to head northwest, and we're going to buzz the city of Kansas City at low level, which you really shouldn't do. I mean, you know, sometimes there's an air show. I mean, it's this way. I'm making a big turn. Let's fly over Whiteman Air Force Base. We'll do it. We'll buzz the tower. That'll be fun. They always appreciate that. Now, this is not a supersonic aircraft. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have, you know, I have a piano with Yamaha piano, and then I have a Behringer synthesizer and a Korg Op6 synthesizer and a drum machine and all sorts of recording stuff, and I do use it. Okay, this is Whiteman Air Force Base. I think some of these hangars are used to store this kind of plane. I don't know if we've flown out of here before, but this is where we flew out of. You know, it's probably a very high security place. All right, Kansas City is up ahead, not far. This whole grounds here, everything you see here is part of Whiteman Air Force Base. It looks pretty nice, really. This whole area here. People live. That's where people live there. People work there. Live. Government housing. All right, northwest to Kansas City, I say. The guitar I'm going to feature today. Why are we Master Caution? I wish it would tell you what the caution's for. I mean, landing gear up. Oh yeah, no. Again, the caution comes from landing gear up warning, which is caused when you're too low to the ground. But we're going to stay a little bit. Yeah, the guitar I'm going to feature today, which is right here. In case you're curious. I brought it aboard with me. The beer experience. It's a fancy cheap guitar from Amazon. It's a fancy cheap guitar from Amazon. It's a Japanese brand. It has no name. It's called, well, it does have a name. Leo James. I've never heard of him. Nor have you. It's not a guitar brand. It's like those Japanese guitar brands from the 70s, which ended up being pretty good, like Fernandez and stuff like that. But this is not a Japanese guitar. It says made in PRC, China. But I'm skeptical. I think it's made in India. But it's still a really high-end cheap guitar, fancy cheap guitar. All right, what do we got here? I want to check that we have everything going here. I think I could have aced that. Okay, all our lights are on. I think I could have aced that starter procedure if I remember to turn my fuel pumps on. The reason why the engines were starting and then stalling out is because I guess they will start with the fuel pumps off. There's only 500 people flown. That's an interesting factoid there. I do find it. I mean, I imagine, you're the best of the best, but just the psychological issue of having to sit in this cockpit for 30 hours on a mission. You can't get out and go for a walk. You can kind of walk behind this little seat. There's a living area, but that's it. The rest of the plane is taken up by the bombs. It's not like there's a cabin back there. I want to stay nice and low. Nice monitor. Oh, absolutely. The Japan ones, and even some of the Korean ones are great. But I have some guitars that are made in Indonesia that are really top end. There's two guitar companies. There's Court and Samick in Indonesia that are gigantic and are really good at making good guitars. But yeah, and then Chinese guitars can be hit or miss. Some of them are quite good. But this one is a fancy cheap guitar. It's $300. It's the absolute top end model that this company is sold on Amazon. And my conclusion is, okay, I think it's up ahead here. My conclusion is if you're not a guitar tech, if you don't have guitar tech skills, you're not going to be able to get the guitar to play anything, because it does not come anywhere near setup out of the box. I had to reef down on that truss rod to straighten the neck, and then I had to adjust the height of every single string, all 6 intonation, adjustments. And now it sounds pretty good. I put a set of Ernie Ball slinkies on it. Strandbergs are really nice. Yeah, the Strandbergs are the reverse, where they don't have a head, they don't have a neck, they don't have a head, and so they're nice and light and kind of they have a good ergonomic from the point of view holding the guitar when you're standing because of no neck. You string them in reverse direction. Or I guess, technically, I guess they put a Floyd Rose on it. I have one guitar that has a Floyd Rose. And it's kind of funny. Like the whole part past the locking nut on a Floyd Rose is like, what's that even for? You really need that. Okay, where is Kansas City? Yeah, they're super light. I don't really mind a heavier one. I'm gonna look on the map here. Okay, here's where we started from, right? And I think Kansas City is up here, right? This bend in the Mississippi or whatever. So it's a little to the right. I bet we're gonna find it. I think it's there, right? Yeah, we took off from KDMO. We want to head like this direction. It's a ways. I think we're in the right way. Yeah, that's the thing is, some of the guitars look a little silly. Or, like kind of small. And then other, guitars, if you get a big guitar on a smaller person, they look ridiculously big. Why are we so high up? Yeah, I detect the city in this direction. It's like 30 to 40 miles away from the city. Harry S. Truman Regional. Maybe I'll look that up on the map and see where we are. I have a PRS on the wall right there behind me. It's a core. It's the bolt-on core, though. It's a CE24. But it is considered core. It's not the high-end core models. But it's a made in the United States, Paul Reed Smith, CE24 and Trampus Green. That's really, that is my best guitar. Well, I have a Schecter Guitar Research Hellraiser C1. Also a very fancy guitar. If you want to see that one, man, that's a guitar and a half. All right, is it that direction? Okay, what did this say again? I'm literally going to look this up so I can see where I am. It's Harry S. Truman Regional. I'm going to look this up. Harry S. Truman Regional Airport on my maps. Oh, by the way, I did figure out how to operate the autopilot. It's pretty easy, but I don't think we'll need it. Harry S. Truman Regional Airport. There it is. It's right there. And it is due east of Kansas City, Missouri. So all we got to do is head west. It's right there. Yeah, I know. 47's pissed. I know he's gonna want me to go to remedial training. Again, we're getting this master caution, I believe, because we're operating below minimums for having your landing gear up. You know, there's basically reminding you that if you're approaching an airport, you want to have the gear down. No, I just check. We're basically heading the right direction. We're just going to check out Kansas City. We're going to fly around a little bit, and then it's going to be time to, yeah, it's a CE24. So again, it's core, but it's got the bolt-on neck, so it's not like a custom 24. Which it's very similar looking to a custom 24, but custom 24 is not a bolt-on. All the other, you know, except for the bolt-ons, the CE24 is a great value. It's got all the things about a PRS you love, namely because things like the pickups are fantastic. The neck is better on the 22, but the neck is fantastic on my CE24. I mean, it's really slick. And you get those pickups. Oh, the neck pickup is better. Oh, okay. Not the neck. Okay. Well, but the point is, when you get PRS core pickups, like, you can't buy those. They won't sell them to you. The only way you're ever going to get your hands on another one is, you know, is if one of them breaks, and they'll send you a new one to replace it. But you can't buy them, and they never break. Yeah, the pattern at the neck. That's most of their guitars, most of the modern ones. All right, we're coming in close. You can start to see we are on the suburbs of Kansas City, the eastern suburbs of Kansas City. It is bucolic. We're flying in our beautiful Spirit 2 bomber. We're bringing a load of, for whatever reason, we have 32 1,000-pound GBU whatevers, GBU-10s, guided bomb unit. But we're not going to bomb the nice people of Kansas City, I don't think. Independence Regional Health Center. I always like to look at I know. It'd be cool if you could drop, I know, people are always like, can you drop bombs? And you just see the place just explode in flames. But no, it's not a combat simulator. All right, this is cool right here. We can stop time and take a look. Independence Temple. But the cool thing about Independence Temple is you can see the world mosaic. It looks like a world mosaic. I'm guessing from the name Temple that it is a Mormon operation. But let's just check it out real quick. I haven't seen it before. It says peace. Okay. It looks, you know, Independence Temple. That's quite a building. Yeah, we could just hover. Basically what happens is we stop time briefly. You can just hit the pause button, but then you can get out of the plane and look around and explore, and the plane just stays there. And then we start time again, and we do this pretty much regularly. It's a great way of kind of checking out, things on the ground. And I call it putting on our magical parachutes. Now that's a school right down there. We're flying over. There's radio tap. Watch out for the guy wires, guys. I do fly. I do have a good time. I watch people trying to stream Microsoft Flight Simulator who've never flown a lot before. And I'm like, you know, it's hard. It takes a while to understand what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is to be able to check it out. All right, we're approaching the city of Kansas City, Missouri. We're flying this plane does have the Missouri paint job, specific Missouri paint job. And it is a Spirit B-2 bomber. But again, the other thing that we can't do that I think would be kind of fun would be to simulate actual refueling. I mean, I could put more fuel on. The other thing we want to do for landing is don't forget to arm your ground spoilers. That's just a little detail. This is the city. It's a beautiful little city. We're gonna fly over it kind of slowly here, so I can put my brakes out. Those are my air brakes. I'm kind of use those to slow the plane down a bit here. Cool, lots of cool looking buildings. Wait, why did that? Oh, that's... I just killed my engines again. My air brakes must be hooked up to... the air brakes must be hooked up to something that kills your engines. I don't know what that would be. But, yeah, I just killed the engines using my air brakes. Gonna start up again in the air. Looks like we can. All right, so don't operate the air brakes until you're on the ground. I think that's what it's trying to do. I was glad. Okay, I was testing my air brakes, which you should be able to. Basically, they're over here. It says speed brakes. But what was happening is when I was turning on the speed brakes, where is it? I don't know where it is. It was throttling the engines down. Yeah, but, I believe the game has a mid-air refueling system, but I don't know how it works. Okay, are we running again? Yeah, we're fine. Look, as I mentioned, and that was definitely not an issue of turning off the fuel though. Right? Fuel pumps are all on, so I don't know why that would happen. Interesting. All right. Well, we're gonna finish this up. I want to do a second flight, but for this, I don't like to land the same place we started from. So we're gonna land at Kansas City International, which is located I don't know, somewhere around here. I might have to again check the map. I think it's down here. Right? What's that? There's a downtown airport, but it's too small. This looks like a medical center here. I think that's the airport down there, south of us. We'll find out in a second. Let's fly over this. But let's buzz this area down here. We're at 300 knots. That's what it looks like from here. Yeah, the master caution keeps coming on to indicate that that the landing gear's up at a low altitude. But that's just because we're buzzing things. Am I a pilot? Yes, I'm a pilot. But no. I mean, I don't have a pilot's license, so technically no. But I have a lot of hours in simulators. You'd do worse to have me on a plane with you and the pilots die and then they need somebody to fly the plane. You'd do worse if I was there. But I'm not technically a pilot. So I think if you want to get to the shopping malls. Shopping malls, there's a medical center. You take the freeway down to the airport. I think this way. Let's find out. I'll follow the freeway. I've been doing Microsoft Flight Simulator on a daily basis for like many years. Let's say more than 5 years. It's just something I do every day. So I have quite a few aeroplanos. This is one we rarely take out. All right, so for landing, the number one thing to do is to notice that we're too heavy because we have too much fuel. It's not a problem. We're going to defuel though. Of course, normally you'd have the correct amount of fuel from the get-go, but you want to be lighter than about 25% fuel load for landing. Okay, up ahead. Yeah, definitely not certified. I mean, I've done some training in small private planes, small planes. Just to see, it wasn't really for me. I mean, it is what it is. It could be a very expensive hobby in real life compared to simulator flying, and dangerous too. I don't know if I have the safety mentality to be a good pilot. I definitely want to take some chances. All right, how is this? New Century Air Center. I actually think there's another airport in one. Let me just see if we can find this here. KIXD. That is the one we want. Alright, so we want to get going too fast, going too high up. We're going to kind of circle here. We're going to come up to this. Okay, so to get to this airport, KIXD, we're going to travel up to this navigation point, 51K. We'll reduce the power a little bit. Reducing power a lot. Right, when we get to this point, we're going to make a sharp left turn, bring the gear down. Hopefully we'll be able to land. There is no flaps, or actually there are flaps, but they're not manually activated. They're part of the computer systems analysis of the aerodynamics of the plane. All right, so we're basically going to make a sharp turn to land back that direction. And when we do, we'll lose a lot of speed. Okay, we're going to come around as sharp as we can. This is what it looks like from here. It's less dramatic, but you can still see we're in a sharp turn here. And I'm going to command the gear to come out now. Gear should be coming out. You can see the doors opening, front gear's out. And we get a little lineup going here. We're flying in behind some other traffic. That's fine. Give us a little more engine, because now we've basically got no, got a lot of, we need the engine. Okay. Maintain under 200, roughly 200 knots for the approach. This is what it looks like from here. I think the actual plane has a HUD display that isn't. If we buy the other Spirit Bomber, it does have a one of those HUDs that pop down. But this one doesn't. But I mean, you know, you don't really need it. I don't think. We've got a decent lineup. We're coming in behind some traffic. We're a little faster than the traffic. It doesn't matter. Okay, this is New Century Air Center. I think it's a little airport, a little regional airport. It should be fine. 210. Here is down. That's what it looks like from here. It's a beautiful day. This is a multi-billion-dollar. Yeah, I know. It's a multi-billion-dollar aircraft, and you know we definitely do not want to piss off the military personnel. We're a little to the left. I wonder if we have a little wind here. Oh, just a bad lineup. I'll fix it. Line in. Okay, that's a little better. I don't know what is going on here. We've got a decent glide slope. That part I can tell you. I'm not using an ILS or localizer or anything like that. I like to just basically hand it. See, this guy's coming in on a little Cessna, and you know his landing speeds are a lot lower than ours. Sorry, buddy. But we have air brakes armed, so that as soon as we hit the ground and I hit the reversers, actually I don't know if it was reversers, we should be able to. All right, we're landing a little short here. A little short. That's fine. We landed a little short, a little slow. We'll get it next time. We didn't break anything. That was a little bit of a hard landing. Hey, if it were a really hard landing, it would have said your landing gear is damaged. All right, okay, the air brakes are out. See, so this time my air brakes are out, but right, I can still launch. I can still have my all right, air brakes back. I don't know why my engine's keeled over. See, that's the sound of them stopping. There's something about closing my air brakes entirely, which basically kills the engines. I got to figure out what that is. Yeah, 37-hour mission? Is that what it was? 37. I heard it was 30 hours plus. But can you imagine? You know, this was a 10-hour. You know, this is a 20-minute mission. We're fine. No, yeah, I don't know why. It's something to do with opening and closing those the speed brakes. I mean, we're done. I'm gonna fly another. Actually, we don't have really time. I want to fly. By the way, this will be tomorrow, Wednesday. I really want to fly a paraglider mission over Bora Bora. Or just like a touristy flight.
Warning.
Well, let me restart the engine so that we can at least taxi somewhere where I can because we're just gliding now. Taxi somewhere where I can take a nice little screenshot. I realized I don't have any good screenshots of my B-2. It will start up again, right? Control E, right? Or do I have to do this? Control E. Give it a second. You can hear them restarting. Like, and by the way, it's realistic. Jet engines, once they stop, or once they stop running, there is an automatic. They usually will automatically restart, but only after they go to idle. But you can really hear the sound. The thing that I do is it seems to be synchronized with the opening and closing the speed brakes. So the speed brake, it's either a bug or there's something hooked up to the speed brakes on this plane that's also hooked up to like the fuel mixture. But in a second, you'll see, yeah, see one engine's already started up there. And yeah, I can feel it vibrating. Like we even need one engine enough to taxi with. It's pushing us. It's just starting up and we're getting some push here. The other thing, there we go. The other thing you can see is those auxiliary inputs there. 3 out of 4 of them are working. What's that about? Okay, there it goes. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's where you see it. I like some of the specific details of the model there. There's a bunch of these little ports that open when you're on the ground going slowly with the engines moving, that are designed to make sure that there aren't really any, you don't want to have ports on the bottom of the plane because they can suck in debris. But the ports that are there are pretty small. All right, anyway, we got the engine started. I will experiment to find out why these engines kept shutting down. Because at first I thought it was that I didn't start them up properly because I didn't have the fuel going. But now I think it's something to do with those speed brakes. I don't have an SR-72. I think they do have them in the game. I have a F-117. I have a Nighthawk. We gotta go slow here because I think this is like a little dip here. That's fine. Didn't hear the gear. Getting a little framey as we approach this airport. That's fine. The F-117 is a very, very unusual and tricky plane to take off in because of its shape and the shape of the wings. It tends to, when you take off, it tends to easily over-rotate and stall, and you die. And apparently that's the real thing. You have to be very careful about over-rotation. It's, other than that, a very easy plane to fly. But unlike almost every other plane, it's when you pull off, when you rotate off the ground in F-117, it really wants to just go straight up and fly straight up and then down again. And you eventually kind of learn to predict that. It's kind of come up here towards the fuel is. This little fuel apron here. All right, that's going to be our daily mission. Let me get a screenshot here. So basically, yeah, we can pop out. Oh yeah, we're going to open our door. Where's the cargo door? Open. Open. So that's going to be this thing down here. The hatch crew button. That's that little ladder coming out at the bottom. Pretty cool. All right, and just to be, consistent with the actual operations, at this point we turn on the APUs before we start, because we're going to stop the engines and we still want power. So the correct way to stop the engines is here, 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 and there, and then the reverse of what we should have done before, which is go to your fuel panel, and there's 6 switches here. APUs are starting. It's fine. APU is running. APU2 is running. Parking brake set. Yellow pressure. It's a pretty complicated system. I like it right. Engine generator is off. But anyway, the cool thing is we can go here. We can kind of walk around. So the actual way you exit is you go down here. Okay. Shift A. That did okay. So you can go in here. That's the hatch which is open. I think. Oh, I guess we can't go down that hatch. For whatever reason, my down button is not working. Free look. I must have messed that up. I gotta fix some stuff. What was in here? All right. But yeah, you can go down that hatch. Well, I was having trouble actually doing it. I guess. if we go through here, can we go up through the hatch? Like this, because you got to see what it looks like. It's kind of tricky to do that. It kind of looks like that. Way up through the hatch and down. It's not that realistic, but you get the picture. That's how you exit the plane. Pretty wild, amazing beast in the real world. Lots of cool little details on the nose. You can see the air intake system with radar cross-signature reduction panels. Now, some of these things are open. I don't know why. And some of these things are closed. Some of those little panels are closed. A lot of no-step walkway. I guess there's some situations where you need to get out from this little door. There's a door. There's a rescue door here or something. And you can come out the back, like this way. All the way to here. But normally you leave through the bottom. Through there. Anyway. Alright, shutting off. Okay, APU start. Let's turn off the batteries. Okay, right. All the generators are off. And your battery master is off here. Right? Oh yeah, well, and also turn off the APUs. And then it should be cold. Yeah, now it'll be cold. Cold and dark. So anyways, I was saying the actual layout of the B-2 Spirit is not really known. This is speculative because it is a state secret. You're not really supposed to tell somebody or share photos or diagrams of what it is. It's probably pretty accurate based on other unclassified warplanes. But the other B-2 Spirit that you can buy that from a different company has quite a different interior. Basically laid out the same way, but the details are very different, especially this panel over here. Just because, as I say, nobody really knows the people who know for sure aren't talking. They think Jesus is going to... Did I miss that? Sorry, did I miss a conversation here? Oh, that Mormon part. That's where they think Jesus is going to return when he comes back to North America. By the way, sorry I missed your... I missed your... I was trying to fly this thing. I was trying to fly this crazy beast, and I missed your interesting comment. Yeah, that is it's a very important Mormon site. You think that they're all in Utah, but no. Apparently, that's a really important one where they, for whatever reason, that's where they think Jesus is going to. But it's a beautiful building there. I mean, when he comes back, he's going to really enjoy the architecture, I think. All right, let's move on with the big brain games. So what we're going to do here is I go here. We're going to go main menu. Let me bring back my face cam for 1 second. I like to switch to the just chatting category. The brain games are just basically to make sure that the brain is still functioning after the previous night's sleep. It's just something I do on a daily basis. So I added it to my content repertoire. All right. So we're quitting out of there. Let me bring up my browser that I enjoy the brain games on. Okay, so the brain games consist of several things. One is, we started with a little warm-up. I play the Quirtle. Do I do the Wordle? I already did the Wordle. The New York Times Wordle. That's fine. But I like doing the Quirtle. It's just, I don't know, four words, 5-letter words that you have to solve simultaneously using the same clues. Now, I have or in my case, starter words. I have a powerful set of 3 starting words that I like to use for these games. Let's see, what is this one here? This one here on the lower right could be, it could either be exist or something that ends in EIST. So we're going to wait on that one. We have this one on the lower left. I mean, we have all the letters. It could be a couple things, but let's guess steel. Oh, that's good. Now we know on the upper left, we have a P. This could be pixel on the upper left there, right? Could be. Upper right, we're gonna have problems with, but well, let's deal with that later. Oh, the X. Remember, I was not sure if it was exist or not, but considering there's an X in it, we now know it's exist. And the last one here, I knew this one just has an O and R, so we got to come up with words that only have O and R in it. Basically, I mean, it could have any of these in too here, so it could be. Let's see. And the O is not in the position 2, and the R is not in position 2, which is interesting. So I might think it starts with an O. It's going to be a hard word. I'm going to have to guess something random. Let's see. Call a friend. Yeah, hey friends. And also don't look at the advertising, because you'll want to buy Tropicana lemonade before you know it. Let's see. I'm just going to guess something here. Well, it can't be offer because it doesn't have an E in it. Oof. All right, we still have 2 guesses, but the F was helpful. And the fact that it doesn't start with an O. Could it be something? No, he can't be. If it starts with an R and doesn't have a vowel after it. I don't think it starts with an R, right? Because what else could it be? Okay. It doesn't start with an O. Could it start with an F? But then it doesn't have an O or an R after it. So what would it be? I don't think like that either. The R. That's a weird word. This is a strange one. I like it. I don't mind it when it's kind of hard. I might get it. I might not. Sometimes I don't get them all. I got pixel. That's a hard word. Two. Okay. F. I don't think it begins with an F. Doesn't begin with an R. That doesn't mean, okay, it could begin with something else. But in that case, it has to be a, like, that's not really a word, but something like that. You know what? Fjord. Why didn't you guys think of fjord, that famous English word? All right, we're not going to do any more of the Quirtles, but we got plenty more brain games to play. I like doing this revealed one. Hey, I got it, fjord. And by the way, you would not have. I don't know that for sure, but that's a hard word. Okay, all we had is R and O and an F. You saw it. All right, place. All right, so it's a place. It has a 5-letter word and a 6-letter word to name it. And we have this heavily redacted document. But if you read it and kind of think about it, sometimes you'll get clues even without having to do reveals of these darker blue words here. So let's say blank, that's where a place is a blank, blank, located about blank something, blank of blank, in the blank, that's a long one, of the blank. It is blank above the blank valley in a narrow blank between 2 blank something. Blank and blank at and blank of blank. One of the few major blank found nearly blank was designated a historical site or something like that. Nearly intact, perhaps. Above the something valley. I want to see what this valley is. Urubamba River Valley. It's not a fall. I want to see with this one. Site. I'm going to take a guess. That wouldn't fit. Machu Picchu, right? That's not a thing. Solved. I'm good at this game. Although you have to, I don't know, man. I didn't even know how to spell it, and I don't know where that came from. My brain comes weird stuff. I'd not heard. By the way, I didn't cheat by looking up where an Urubamba River is. It just kind of held right, and you can see all this stuff: pre-Columbian Peru, Cusco, Peru, blah blah blah, pre-Columbian ruins, UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. Interesting. How well did people do? I needed 2 reveals, and other people and no hints. Other on average needed 6 reveals and 2 hints. 75%. I mean, others I do better than everybody every time. That's fine. Moving on to the next game, which is the tightrope trivia game. It's a 9-question timed trivia game. Thank goodness Monday is considered the easier day because they can get kind of hard, but they're timed, so I got to get them as fast as possible to get my high score. Far from the ball drop in 2 years ago, which American soil is New Year's Eve by dropping a 17-long potato? I mean, I'm thinking Idaho. Potatoes. I mean, it's like on the license plate. There's a bear instead of a marsupial. It's a koala. It's not, yeah, koala. They call it a koala bear, but it's not a bear. Or it's like a drop bear, effectively. It's not a real bear. Typically, there's tahini, lemon juice, and garlic. What is the primary ingredient? It's chickpeas. It's ground up chickpeas. I think I made hummus before. 500,000 here. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We're doing Octoral after this, or 2. Which app changes but kept its ghost logo? Snapchat. See, I should have known that, but I don't have Snapchat. I should have been able to guess that. They're black after winning. It depends from which country. Haiti was colonized by France. Okay. Food is okay. Sleepy for me is food on set, causing him to adopt which cat braves to wake them up. Wasn't it Bam? Bam? I mean, okay, I guess. But we already got one wrong, so we're not going to ace this quiz. That's hearsay. Something wasn't personally witnessed. Testimony about something that was personally witnessed is called hearsay. The beginning of the radio show Barn Dance was located 6, all located in which city? I mean, they all must have been in Nashville because that's where the Grand Ole Opry is. All right, so except for one of them, which was moderately challenging, I did okay, but that wasn't great. What do we get today? We got first try. I mean, how many points? Tightrope boss. That's not very good. But above tightrope boss is walking encyclopedia and clever funambulist. But you got to get like 2,300 points for that. So yeah, I mean, we weren't that fast. We weren't that. We only got 8 out of 9. That's fine. All right, moving on to the last 2 brain games. It's a classic Octoral, and then we'll do the rescue because that's the hard one. Yesterday's rescue kicked my ass really hard. But I mean, the classic one is just a warm-up game. It's just like the Quirtle, except you solve 8 words at the same time. Thus, my use of the exact same 3 starting words. Hey, if you can come up with better ones, let me know. But like this one has to be story on the right there. I mean, we got all 5 letters. Up here, this could be a bunch of things on the left. This one here, I think on the right has to be suing, S-U-I-N-G. And that's good because the G was helpful down here. Let's keep that in mind. Up here, we have ST, and then R, right? And then A. Could it be strat? It's not stray because there's no Y. Strat's not a word. Oh, straw is a word, though. Okay, I should have saw that one coming. We have here on the right, it's going to be Snoop, I have a feeling. And we're moving along. We got 4 to go, and then we're going to do the rescue. And then it's going to be music time, by the way, if you're like waiting for the guitar day. I'm going to be talking about guitar. I'm going to be playing guitar. I'm going to attempt to sing some songs. It's not necessarily going to go well. I kind of want to guess, like, just to guess a word, like Drake, just to use some nice vowels, consonants here. It was Drake. Jeez, I'm good at guessing these random words sometimes. It almost seems like cheating. I don't know how I cheated. It could have been a bunch of other words. That was super lucky. All right, this one here is Let's see. D-I, perhaps D-I, and then there's a T and a T-I. And then there's a G and a T to place. Or maybe it's not DI. But then what else would it be? Oh, digit. D-I-G-I-T. Kind of obvious. Then we have here S-I something something E. And what could that be? It could be sieve. S-I-E-V-E. Right? Yes, it could be. And we're now on the last one. We're going to do one more. We're going to do the rescue after this. The rescue is the hard one, because you don't get to choose your powerful 3 starting words. But this is actually hard. We have an L and an O to place. And the O is not there. The O probably starts the word. Awful, O-F-F-A-L is a word. And it was awful, O-F-F-A-L. All right, down to the last of the big brain games. So far, we've done pretty good. But we're going to do today's rescue, and that's going to be the last of the brain games, as I mentioned. I keep saying that 800 times. Okay, we don't get to choose. It chooses 4 random starting words for us that are guaranteed to be awful. But you can get some interesting possibilities here. Like this one is, we know it probably is a U or O in here. It could be brush or crush. Could be a lot of things. That's not so good. This one here, though, N-E, ends in H, and there's an I in there. N-E-I-G-H, pretty much. Doesn't have to be. Okay, good. Although the G was not helpful. This one has a T, E, N, and R. It doesn't start with the E. Could it be enter? E-N-T-E-R. See, that works. So let's try it. Okay, we're doing good. We get the easy ones. There's always a few easy ones. This one here is A-T-T something. And what does it end in? If it has A-T-T, atto, it's either a U or Y. So it could be A-T-T-Y. So it could be patty or fatty. I'm going to guess patty, just to go for the, oops, I was wrong. That's fine. The P was extremely helpful. Without the P, we would not have solved any of these. Here we have, let's see, P-A something S-E. So, but there's no R, so it's not parse. So I think it's got to be pause, P-A-U-S-E on the left there. We're making progress. That one's lower left is going to be hard. Now we know it's U-S-H, which I knew. But we still don't know if it's brush, crush, or it's going to be brush or crush on the lower right, but we don't know. It's 50-50. Let's wait on that. This one here that is not, it wasn't patty, but it still could be batty or catty or fatty. Probably not fatty. Let's hold off on that one. We have a word that ends in ER, and other than that, we don't know anything else about it. What could it be? Oh, a million things. If these are going to be hard. Shoosh. All right, well, we're not getting today's rescue. All right, I'm going to guess a word. What should we guess for this? A random one. Joker ends in ER. I'll be very surprised. No, it wasn't Joker. It could have been Joker. All right, it does have an O, though. And that O is helpful in just these 2 words. Yeah, that wasn't a great guess, too. It would still be brush or crush. What about this one over here? The one on the lower end, it could be plump, unfortunately. Could be clump, C-O-U-M-P. I hope it is. It was. All right, that was very helpful, because now we know it's crush on the right. We're not going to win this one, but at least we'll get a couple more. because we only have 2 guesses to get 3 letters. Hey, these are hard, which is why I like this game. This one I only went about a half of. All right, now we know there's an M over here, and there's an R something. It could be O-R, right? Order, right? O-R-D-E-R. The D wasn't helpful, but now we know it starts with O and ends in E, has an R and an M in it. So we should be able to figure that one out. It's Well, if there's not an M there, then it's definitely M-R-E. Is it ombre? B-R-E? Is that a word? O-M-B-R-E? Because if it is, I'll be pissed off. It was, but that's a Spanish word. The word we didn't get was batty. Remember, it could have been batty or catty. Well, we knew it was batty because it could have been catty. All right, that was close. I had a good time doing the brain games today. So we're going to keep doing the brain games. I don't know. It's just a thing. It doesn't take forever. But, eats up some time in the stream. Moving to the music category. Give me a couple minutes to switch over. I'm going to put my mid-roll on, and then we're going to be doing some guitar stuff. So enjoy, if you want to see that. It's about to happen. And do that for about 45 minutes or so. Alrighty then, welcome back to the stream. It's starting to be summer weather here, that's the shorts. But don't worry, I am wearing both underwear and shorts. All right, so let's first talk a little bit before we get into the actual musical portion of the show. It's basically going to be one of my TED Talks on electric guitars. I got a collection of about 12. We were talking about them earlier with our friend on YouTube and showing off like that. Behind me, I have you can't see it, unfortunately. It's on the wall there. My PRS CE24. It's a core PRS guitar. That's basically the most expensive guitar. And this is basically the cheapest electric guitar I've ever purchased, really. $300 from Amazon. It's from a brand called, it says here, Leo James there. It's kind of a fancy little, it's a Leo James. I don't never heard of it. You know, it's not a real brand. On the back, it says Hurricane Series, designed and manufactured by Leo James. It doesn't have a place, like it doesn't say made in China. On the box, it says made in PRC. Anyway, they make a whole bunch of guitars in the sub $200 range, which are pretty basic looking. They might be good guitars, but then they also make like a $300 guitar, which is 50% more than their typical guitar. And they throw everything they can in the kitchen sink into the $300 guitar. For example, what am I talking about? Excuse me. Let's take a look at some of the features of the guitar here. The back is mahogany. It's a pretty nice looking piece of bang. The neck is Canadian maple. It's a very dark maple, and normally like a lighter maple, but it's a single piece of maple. The tuners are locking tuners. One of them is busted, but other than that, it seems to function. But I don't know. It's probably going to break. I may have to replace the tuners, although they're technically pretty fancy tuners. It came with the strap locks. These are the strap locks where you can they can quickly come off, and they have this little PC attached to them, and then you just push them. You just push them on and they lock on really well, so you're not going to lose a strap. They're not going to go anywhere. That's a fancy guitar thing. The other thing that you may not expect is stainless steel frets. This is the only guitar I have that has stainless steel frets. You can't really see much of a difference, but you can feel it when you're bending. It bends real smooth. And then I hadn't seen this design of the inlays before, which is where the inlays are on the side of the neck. And the reason why, that's really cool is that these inlays on the top also act as your side inlays. Normally there's a separate set of dots on the side of the guitar. It'll tell you where they're fret markers, I guess you call them. But this one cleverly, I believe, very cleverly, and I don't know if uniquely, I'm sure they didn't invent it, but I haven't seen another guitar that has these fret markers on the side. So it looks pretty cool, and then it functions very well because when I'm looking, normally as a guitar player, you're looking at the side of the guitar, not the top of the guitar. I had to adjust everything there is about this. I had to adjust the truss rod, take the truss rod cover off, adjust the truss rod quite a bit to flatten the neck. I had to lower it's a very highly adjustable mechanism here, very standard. The pickups put plenty of output and sound really good. Pickups are really hard to screw up. They're really simple devices, and magnets and wires. The other thing I wanted to point out was, let's see, that's kind of deluxe on this one. Tuners. Oh, well, basically the cheaper ones only have one knob and one three-way switch. Now there's just a volume knob and a three-way switch. These have the tone and the volume, and you get coil splitting, which is kind of a deluxe feature. There's coil split on the bridge. Without coil split, real different sounding. You can coil split both and mix them, and if you like that tone, I don't really like it. This is, I usually don't split them. I put them about right here. So I put Ernie Ball regular Slinkies 10s on these. The strings he came with from the factory were both not very good and broke. It's the first time, second time I tried to tune it up. So yeah, I mean, if you buy a fancy cheap guitar like this, you're not going to be able to play it out of the box. You're either going to have to get somebody to do it for you or get into the details of how to properly set up an electric guitar. It's not I mean, the hardest knowledge in the world, but you have to be comfortable with basically, there's so many little different knobs. I mean, the truss, first of all, you have to be able to be comfortable with making a truss rod adjustment. Have to. You'll never get the neck straight. It will never play. And you have to be comfortable with adjusting the height of the strings. You have to have a string gauge, which I do, and adjusting the height of the pickups and adjusting the intonation, which is the 6 strings, the 6 adjustment screws on the bottom, which adjust how far these little bridge thingies go in and out. Anyway, so that if it's tuned up here, it might play here. Should still be in tune. Still working on it a little bit. And it's gonna. And the point is now it's all tuned up, it's intoned, and the height of the strings is quite manageable. It doesn't buzz excessively. This is what it sounds like finger picked. It is actually a really nice guitar. Yeah, so I think the back is a one-piece back too. It's hard to tell, but it's not a veneer. It looks like a one-piece back to me, or it's a two-piece, but still, it's a book. It's a one-piece back to me. And I don't know how they make these tops, but it does look really good in person. It's got a lot of three-dimensionality. $300 guitar, man. It's kind of crazy. But again, if you can't get it to play, it's not worth anything. And I was ready to say, oh, a $300 guitar that I might have to take, literally put in the trash if I can't get it to play. But it plays really nice. It's starting to. So I'm playing a lot because you gotta play them in, All right, so I'm gonna sing a song called "Modern Jesus" by Portugal the Man. It's a little song. It's a song I like to do as a solo guitar song. Goes like this. Come on in, take a seat next to me. You know we got what you need. We may be liars preaching to choirs, but we can sell your dreams. You don't need sympathy, they got a pill for everything. Just take that dark cloud, ringing out to wash it down. But I don't pray for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. We are the ones who start little fires, yet they burn out But when they're on the rise, they can't help but shine. And when the wave approaches, take our ashes to the ocean. Who cares if hell awaits? We're having drinks at heaven's gate, but I don't pray for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. We know that we're helpless, at least that's what we assume. But we don't need to prove nothing to you. Let's all stay cool. You don't want to feel blue, but we won't sell you nothing you can't use. I don't pray for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. Alrighty, I want to sing some songs. Wait, I was just doing that. I mean, some karaoke songs is what I mean. Let's see what we got here. Where is my song list here? There we go. Pretty much always start with this one. Oh, pause. Come on, people. Come on, people. Let's get the production down. Production quality. Camera's in the way a little bit there. That's better. Okay. Can you see everything? Can you hear it? Just play some of the standard songs here. I do want to play some Sugar time. Here's a little ghost for the offering. Here's a truck stop instead of St. Peter's. Mr. Randy Kaufman's gone wrestling. And it isn't here about this one. Tell me how you're locked in the punch. And how you keep it on every say it, baby. Oh, we losing touch. If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon. If you believe there's something up your sleeve and nothing is cool. I do like this song. We'll do Sister Golden here next, though. That's becoming one of my favorite ones to attempt, at least. Is this the one we do? It is not the one we do. Right? Hold on a second here. It's the other one we like to do. Not the Zoom, the Carafun. Carafun's a little better. Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so dead depressed that I set my sights on Monday, and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure can be a friend of mine. Well, I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise, and I just can't live without you, and you see it in my eyes. I think one more correspondent, I bet you too hard to find, but it doesn't mean you've been on my mind. Will you meet me in the middle? Will you meet me in the air? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I tried to fake it, I don't not say it, just can't make it. But I keep on thinking about you, Mr. Golden Hair Surprise, and I just can't enjoying playing that song. Let's get back to the my meat and potatoes RM song.
This one goes out to the one I left behind. A simple prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I left behind. Another prop has occupied my time. This one goes out to the one I love.
Tired from singing a lot on this weekend. I'm gonna try one more. That's kind of, maybe we'll try the easier one. This is not it. Somewhat easier one. Let's see what I want to do. We'll do Paint It Back. That's kind of an easier one for me. What about let's do this one, Capo 2.
In the summer clothes.
sort of could sing that song. Let's see how this one goes. This is a little harder to sing.
You say we got nothing in common, a common ground to start from, and we're falling apart. You say the world has come between us, lives have come between us. Still I know you just don't care. And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kinda liked it. And I said, well, that's one thing that we've got. I've seen you, only one who knew me. Now your eyes see through me. Guess that I was wrong. So what now? When you see we're over, think when things are over. So much is left undone. And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kinda liked it. And I said, well, that's one thing that we've got. You say we've got nothing in common, common ground to start from, and we're falling apart. You say the world has come between us, our lives have come between us. Still I know you just don't care. And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think you both kinda liked it. And I said, well, that's one thing that we've got. Oh, and I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany's? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kinda liked it. And I said, well, that's one thing that we've got. And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kinda liked it. And I said, well, that's one thing that we've got.
All right, that's gonna be it for today's performance. I gotta get back to work. But you know, there's gonna be lots more streaming. For example, Wednesday and Friday. I keep not getting around to the beautiful Bora Bora low overflight in my parafoil, my powered parachute thingy. But hopefully, the thing is, you know, today's content of flying the Spirit Bomber was low hanging fruit in terms of, you know, what should we do that might have some resonance with people. Might have some resonance with people, and I think it did resonate with people. I think people were, including me, and I'm a people, I'm the number one viewer of my own show. I actually watch my own show the next day in the morning and go, that was pretty good. But during the time I actually produce the show, I'm like, this is terrible. But it's streaming. It's like it's the best part of it is unpredictable. Like, why do my engines keep shutting down in the 20? I don't know. We'll figure it out someday. But it's always like, well, the fact that nothing goes smoothly actually adds to the fact that it's obviously not a scripted, pre-scripted, show. It is what it is. I don't know if I'm going to sing well or do not, and I probably know that, but I don't know if I'm going to ace the brain games test or not. I like the fact that there's a lot of unknowns to the show, and there will be a lot of unknowns on Wednesday, like where we're going to fly, in what plane, what the brain game is going to be like. Are we going to watch Skibidi Toilet? We don't know. Maybe some more. I actually could. And what instrument will we play? Will it be a guitar or a piano? That one I could probably tell you be a piano, because I like to alternate between the guitar and piano on my streams. So that would make next Wednesday a piano stream. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, all the wonderful people who stopped by and said hi. I really appreciate it. And there'll be more. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching me after the fact on the VODs, you can hit that subscribe button. It's free, and then you get notifications when I go live. You can come by live and come and chat with me on my live YouTube. Most of the people on YouTube do not watch me live, and that's fine. I have no problem with it. Twitch, on the other hand, most of the people who are there on Twitch are watching me live, because Twitch is not really VOD friendly, but you can watch my VODs on Twitch. And if you are on Twitch and you haven't already smashed that follow button, go ahead and smash it. You'll get notifications 5 days a week that I'm going live. Roughly the same time, though, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm kind of settled on that time. Works for me. Seems to work for the audience. It's good to be predictable. I like have a predictable starting time and ending time, roughly 2 hours after that. On the weekdays, we don't go more than an hour and 45 usually. It's basically, you got to send some emails here. Nothing major for today. And I will be going to the office tomorrow, obviously. So that's why, well, you don't care. There will be no streaming tomorrow. Thanks so much again for coming, and we shall see you next time.